I call him Lieutenant Dad now because they Lieutenant Dan'd him and he just didn't get any magic legs. Hello, welcome to a very special episode of MAMM podcast, MAMM and Mourning. As many of you may have seen, lost my father recently, so we're going to go over kind of the whole story. I mean, you guys have been there long knowing the no contact, so I'm sure you're wondering how all this went. Dad's here with us. Oh, spoiler alert, he didn't make it. But I'm here to tell the whole thing. All right, Mom, buckle up. So, as you guys have known, the last time I saw my dad, he called me Colleen, taunted me, like, it was bad. And so no contact, they hadn't reached out, and it's not funny, but it's fortuitous. But Drew and I were walking before we went to the Maldives, and he goes, you know what if your dad dies? And they never get to say anything. And I said to him, and I meant this, and I still mean this, I said, well, he had a chance. You know, if he didn't want to reach out to me, I wasn't the one that was wrong. Then he died. You know, like, it sucks, but I was kind of at peace with the decision. So we're in the Maldives, which you guys have heard that episode. Like, so beautiful, like, amazing. I wake up, and we're 12 hours different. So I wake up 2 days before we're supposed to leave, and I see a message from my son Walker, and he said, Mom, Kyle and Nana called, Papa's in the hospital. So I called because, I mean, I wanted, like, what's going on? So I called her, and she's like, your dad's in septic shock and multiple organ failure. And I said, Rose, if you are lying to me right now, like, this is next level fucked. And she's like, no, I'm not. You're a star, Sarah. We couldn't make it, but you're a star. Like, First off, here's the deal. I don't have an ego, as Chad from Carolina Liar and I realized, but I have pride and I have convictions. And there's a lot of intensity and feistiness with that. But I don't have an ego. So I didn't need to hear, you made it and we didn't. Like, it was nice. And I cried. You know, I was very emotional. But now in hindsight, it's like, fuck you. Yeah, I did fucking make it without you. So I wasn't going to leave early. Like, we had 3 flights to get there. Like, do you know what it'd be like to end? I was like, he's in the hospital. And if something happens, like, this is a once in a lifetime. So we still had fun and, like, made the most of it. And then we were driving home and they were going to, like, do some surgery on his foot. So my brother called me and I was, like, being there for him. And then I went up the next day. And I mean, the minute I walked in, I knew my dad was gone. I knew the man that yelled at me, the man that loved me, all of that was gone. He was on life support. There was a breathing tube. He was on dialysis for his kidneys. He had a catheter. Like, he was on heavy, heavy meds. Like, I knew it wasn't good. His feet, too, were black, like he had been on Mount Everest. Both feet black like Mount Everest. Like, I didn't, to this day, I don't understand how they got that bad. The minute that I had some black on my foot, I feel like I'd be like, we need to call 911 right now. This is serious, but that's Dad for you. So I was hanging out with them, like, talking, and my mom's like, oh, I made friends at work. And, like, I'm like, that's great, Mom, you know? And she's like, and I didn't sleep with Paul McLean. I slept with a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. I go, well, if you heard that and you're okay with it, rock on. Like, but then the red flags started showing. You know, with a narcissist, they can only put on a show for so long. So she turns to me later and she goes, you know, I was testing you with the pills. I was testing to see if you were strong enough. That's why I didn't help you. Well, I fucking passed. I fucking passed that test. But fuck you. Fuck you so much for not hugging me and telling me it'll be okay. Literally, that's all I needed from you in that moment when I went over crying because my life was falling apart. I just needed you to say, Sarah, you've been through hard things. You'll get through this. I believe in you. I love you. Everything will be okay. You know, fucking mom shit. I needed mom shit. So I was like, okay. I didn't even know how to respond to that, honestly. I kind of blacked out because it was so fucked. And my brother's birthday was coming up, and I like put up pictures from the Maldives, and like all the doctors were very interested in the Maldives. I'm like, can you take care of my dying father? The Maldives was wonderful. So it was also, I talked like, okay, I made a video about this, and someone was like, nah, I just want to talk about the Maldives. First off, cunt, whoever you were, you're never going to the Maldives. So have fun living your shitty life. But also, I'm saying it to show the juxtaposition, which I'm sure that woman doesn't know what that means, of being in heaven, like this once in a lifetime trip in the Maldives where we kept looking at each other and being like, is this real life? To being in the hospital with my father on life support, like they're asking to cut off his legs. Like that was what they said. Like the infection is so bad, it's causing all these problems. We need to cut off his leg. So we all had to have a fucking meeting about cutting off my dad's leg. Yeah, I'm going to fucking talk about the Maldives. Like, fuck you. But so we all made this decision to cut off my dad's leg. And in the meantime, also around then, it was Beckett's birthday. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be nice. On Beckett's birthday, you guys can meet us at lunch. We're having lunch at Culver's. So we met them and they were fine, you know, and the boys were talking. But instantly it was starting to go back. Like the reasons that we had, because she was like, Christmas, I don't need a lot of presents this year. But then she was just describing Christmas like we always celebrated it. And we have Christmas Eve, like we go to a restaurant, like we have our family's traditions now. So I was like, we're not going back into that. And then she's like, Walker, I need to take you shopping for shoes. I just bought him Converse. I just told her about the fight he and I had at Converse. And she's like, Nana needs to get you shoes. So all of it was the same. So I started like thinking about this, and you know, because I was there and I was like putting up the pictures and I was like, oh Dad, I love you, and this is so, come on Daddy, like. And she also kept telling me to piss him off, and I was like, what? Like I piss him off? Like me just existing pisses him off? Like, and then it was like, this is my big guy, and like, oh, fucking bullshit. So this is the day. We go in, because we waited all day for them to cut off his leg. And they're like, oh, just kidding. Tomorrow morning, because this was the worst hospital. Banner Desert Hospital in Mesa, Arizona sucks ass. And you cut off my dad's legs for no reason. So we go back the next morning. And this is the thing. Like overnight, I thought about this. And I was like, you know what? No, fuck him. Like, fuck him. He gets to just like die. And never have to deal with any of this. So like I put on my favorite yoga outfit. Like I was getting to that hospital early. We were all meeting at 7. I got there at 6:45. And there's this young, cute nurse, I don't know, boy that was, man, helping my dad. And so I'm like, I go in and I'm standing by the bed because I'm like ready to really like, I am going to say everything I've wanted to say my whole life. And he's just like checking me out and like filling me in on stuff. But it got to the point where I said, honey, can I have a minute alone with my dad before they cut off his leg? That would be great. So it's like, oh yeah, of course. So then he went out and just checked me out from the hallway, which I did look great. So you're welcome. But I, for the first time in my life, got to say to my dad everything that I've wanted to say, and he couldn't yell, he couldn't do anything. And I told him, I said, you were a disappointment. What a fucking disappointment you turned out to be. You let your relationship with your grandsons go. You let the relationship with me go. This is how you're going to go. Like, this is pathetic. Like, everything I had to say to him, I made sure and said, because I wasn't sure he was going to even make it through the surgery. So I was like, well, I need the peace of mind of saying this. I don't know if he heard it or not, but I got to say it. So they came in and the surgeon was like savage. She goes, gotta take them both. His legs, gotta take them both. And my mom's like, what? She's like, how has nobody scotted this before? Blah, blah, blah. Both are awful. We need to take them both. And my mom looks at me and I go, it's your decision. You're going to be taking care of him. And she goes, you're not going to help me? I go, fuck no, I'm not going to help you. I said, you're lucky you got 4 days of sympathy out of me right now, Rose. Like, no, I'm not helping you. You let it get this bad. You get to deal with the consequences. And then she just like, I don't need this shit. And then like walked over. I said, if you want to kick me out, by all means, kick me out. Right now is your chance. And she didn't. So she showed me her belly. So I also knew I alphaed her. So Drew came in and she was like, why is Sarah being cruel and nasty to me? And he goes, well, Rose, nothing's changed. Like, yeah, we're here with Carrie, but like you have the problems she had with you that forced her to cut you out of her life are still there. And she just said, wow. Like that was shocking to her. She also, we were like, had to leave the room at one point, and like the show Girlfriends was on. It was like I don't even know, like these 4 ladies. And my mom's like, this generation just talks too much about their feelings. I'm glad you go to therapy though. I'm like, yeah, I need a shit ton of it because you're my mom. Like, glad you support me getting help after you fucked me up. A+, Rose. Oh, and she also said, I'm going to ask you one thing. Never call me Rose again. You sounded like my mother. Rosemary, you're such a disappointment. Did that sound like her? I hope I just triggered you. So I had an appointment with my therapist that day, virtual, and I was like, well, I'm not missing this. So I went out in the waiting room, and she's like, are you okay with this? I go, I don't give a fuck who hears any of this. And I basically just rattled off everything, like how I'm mad, how they let this happen. Like, I'm sucked back in. Like, it just was awful. So the surgeon came out when I'm on the call, and I go, I'm on with my therapist. Very important. Talk to my husband. So he got the information. And she's like, we found lots of good tissue. He's good. Like, I think he's just going to wake up. So I was like, okay. So we go back in. No shit. An hour after they wheeled him back from cutting off both of my dad's legs. Do you hear me? They cut off both of my dad's legs. And an hour after, I noticed my mom take a prescription pill. She went in the bathroom to hide it and then said, I had a really rough night. Your brother and I are going to go home. And I was like, you and Kyle are going to go home after they cut off his legs, and you haven't talked to him yet about this. Yep. Walked out the door. I'm inferring that it was to take prescription pills. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. Also, they just didn't give a shit. Like, I don't know. For my dad, and my brother kept being like, I only have 2 people in my life, like, blah, blah, blah. It's your fucking fault. And if our dad was such like a good friend to you, you weren't like, hey, mom, if you need to go bounce, cool, I'll take an Uber home. Like, no, they're in cahoots. So Drew and I went down to the cafeteria. Like, I was in shock. It was the most disgusting thing I could think of. Can you imagine waking up and your legs are gone and just some nurses there? No family, like nothing. Like, this is just next level fucked. So I was pretty done. And we went back upstairs and there was a nurse. I go, look, shoot it to me straight. I'm not like them. I can handle it. And she goes, you want truth? I go, yes. She goes, I think one more thing's going to happen. He's going to die quickly. This isn't ending with him going home. I said, okay, thank you. That's what I thought. And also, at this point, it's what I wanted. Like, he was not going to want this life. We did everything we could to save his life because you can't just let him die. But that wasn't the quality of life he was going to want. And they kept talking like, oh, he's just going to be good. They were talking about how they were going to get his car retrofitted so he could drive without legs. Drew pointed out, instead of having my 36-year-old brother, who has nothing wrong with him, drive, they were going to make Lieutenant Dad drive. I call him Lieutenant Dad now because they Lieutenant Dan'd him and he just didn't get any magic legs. And this is how I'm dealing with it. So you can say that I'm insensitive, but I'm going to use Lieutenant Dad any way I can the next year. He's my dad and he died. So the nurse said that, and I'm like, we went home because, like I said, I was no contact. I wanted nothing to do with them and got sucked back in just because it felt like the right thing to do. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have any regrets for myself. So we went home and talked it all out. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't go back. So I messaged my brother the next day and I said, here's the deal. I don't want to fight with mom in front of you. It's not good for anybody. So when he wakes up and is talking, let me know and I'll come back. Like, right away, I'll come back. I said, okay, I understand. And they kind of like gave me like, oh, this is going well. But he still wasn't awake. So Friday rolled around and he messages me and he goes, we're pulling the breathing tube. He's not like, we're pulling the plug. So I was like asking neighbors, I'm like, can you watch Beckett? Like, thank God for Gloria next door. She's like, yeah, honey, I'll watch him. I'm like, sorry. Yeah, going to pull the plug on my dad. Like, this is all fucked. So we went down and it was weird. Like, they had like buckets of snacks and like little like electric votive candles. Oh, that was the other thing that weirded me out. My brother apparently is watching The Pit. And as we're deciding to cut off one of his legs, they walk this guy, they had candles, and it was like Wheels in the Sky Keep Under. I don't know. It was some sad song. And I was like, that was weird. And Kyle goes, oh, it's an honor walk. They're going to donate his organs. So I was like, We just had to hear. I wish I remembered the song. It was something Wheel like, oh, Dust in the Wind. It was Dust in the Wind, I think, which I was like, all we are dust in the wind. Let's cut off Dad's leg. It's less dust. Like, I don't know. So the whole thing to me was surreal. I haven't been in a hospital like that, like anything. So we're going and we are going to say goodbye, and I wasn't mean. I didn't yell at him this time. I said, like, it's okay, Dad, like, you go, I'll watch, whatever. I said to him, like, I love you. Thank you for the good times. And Drew was so sweet and like said he'd always take care of me. And then Mom came back in and she's like, thank you for being here. I said, of course I'm here for my brother. And I was like trying to take care of Kyle. And then Drew's like, Sarah, I don't know that this is the time. So I was nice. Pulled the respirator out of him, unhooked him from everything. And he started making this horrible snoring noise. Like, I can't even reenact it because it was so horrible. And he was like he wasn't there. Like, it was like an animatronic dinosaur. Then they put something up his nose to stop the snoring. And I could just see blood in that. Like, it was just very, very traumatic. And then this hospice chick came in and she's like, we're going to move him. And we're like, we're told he's going to die. So why are you? She's, yeah, you're right. He probably wouldn't even make it there. I'm like, so why are we like, what the fuck? Get out. And then my mom kept saying she was hitting on my dad. I'm like, even if this is a joke, this is weird. Like, no. So they moved us up to the cancer ward and it was late and I hadn't meditated. I hadn't eaten. Like, I just ran out the door and he was gone. He had been gone before. Like, I knew he was gone. And my mom's like, I think we're all going to go, right? We're tired. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I left this Miss Piggy doll with him because when I was 3 years old, I loved Miss Piggy and McDonald's had those cool toys, the plushy Christmas Muppets. So he got me the Miss Piggy. So I had lost it. I bought another one on eBay as an adult. Like, it was this great memory. So I left that doll with him so he wasn't alone. And there was an angel statue my Nana had given me. And I put that there watching over him with a picture of my grandpa. So I was like, well, I've done what I can. I personally don't want to be traumatized being there, him taking his last breath. And once again, I was no contact. I was out. So me even coming back, I felt like was a lot. So my mom called the next day or not the next day, I'm sorry. She called me at 10 o'clock and I missed some calls from the hospital too. I was like, fuck. And she's like, yeah, your dad died. I'm like, okay. It's super sad. She's like, tomorrow, I go, I'll come over tomorrow. We will do the arrangements. You know what I mean? Like, we'll call the home and stuff. And she goes, okay. So I called her. She calls me the next morning and she goes, I can't be in this house without him. Can I come over there? I understood that. And I said, yeah, fine. That's fine. I didn't ask Drew. Well, then I go tell him and he's like, her house is a mess. Like, why is she coming over here? And I was like, I don't know. But right now, you were telling me yesterday wasn't the time. I really don't feel like today is the time. And then he was like, are you high right now? I go, what? He goes, are you high right now? I go, no, I'm not. Do you want me to piss in a cup for you? Are you sure? I'm like, I am so fucking sure I'm not high right now. But if you keep asking me these questions, I'm going to go pop an edible. Like, I didn't self-medicate through any of this. I was not high during the day, like nothing. I took my stuff at night like normal, like nothing. I was not acting like that. And I was pissed at him because he had told me that 2 days before when he had lunch with his mom was like, I know you told me that if I ever saw something, I should say something. So is Sarah replacing pills with marijuana? She was very high on Easter. And he's like, no, Mom, actually, she's cut back. First off, it's 420. I was going to fucking celebrate. Second of all, it's Easter, which I am not a Christian. It is a bullshit made up holiday to me that I have to pretend like it's real when I'm in their house. So yes, I was high. And also, I don't like his family. Yes, I was high as fuck. I ate 8 brownies. You're lucky I was there and I was pleasant. Like, honestly, just fucking take the win, Valine. So that's what upset me. Not that he asked me if I was high. Like, he has carte blanche. Like, I was a pill popper. Like, do whatever you got to do, dude. I respect that. But don't say my mom's getting my head when your fucking mom got in your head too. Like, that's bullshit. So I got my mom and brother out quickly. I was like, now's not the time, like, it's just really creating problems. So we're going to go to the home later. Like, I'll take care of it. She's like, okay. So we went to the funeral home the next day. Like, Drew and I talked it out and set it up, and she was just getting him cremated. And she's like, this is how much I want to spend. And I was like, clearly you don't know how much a funeral is. So I said, okay, Mom, like you pay for the cremation here. We'll get the box. I said, I have the clubhouse here. I was going to throw a party for the drama kids. We can just use it and have his memorial there. So I was a point person. So I had to call the hospital because the fucking doctor, who I loved, but all he wanted to do was talk about the Maldives and look at my pictures. I'm like, my father's dying. Can we like sign the death certificate so we can get him cremated so he can be at his memorial? Like I'm living in the surreal world where I'm having to do this. And then I met up with her and like we got stuff to wear to the funeral and I got some shoes. And it was just, she's like, here you go. I trust you. And like I did everything. I ordered the food. I had told my brother, I said, Kyle, there's a trunk in the garage. Dad has pictures in there, like from when he was little, like, can you get me these pictures? Yeah. I went through my whole trunk that I have here, got every single picture of my father. They took 5 pictures off the wall of their house and were like, here you go. And also, here's your dead dad. They dropped off when I wasn't home to my son. So Walker's like, it kind of hit me when I saw Papa's dead ash. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, man. Yeah. So I was like, of course, everything's on their time frame. Always, everything's on their time frame. They couldn't wait. Had to drop him off because she had to go home and take pills. Once again, I'm inferring, but I think I'm right. So the day of the memorial comes around, like, I have these pictures that I need to go to poster board, the food, like I'm setting up chairs. I'm doing all this. I'm running around. Our friends, Taddy and Will came in town. Amazing. Like Taddy and Will, next level friends. Like they drove from Mississippi to come be here for me and help with this thing. Like Taddy and Will are fucking aces. Love them. So they're helping. Like Will and Drew and Walker are going to get the food. Taddy is gluing pictures on the poster board with Walker. And my mom shows up and she's like, when the Cubs go to the World Series, we're going to Wrigley Field. And I'm like, yeah, we are, Mom. Like, just fucking whatever you got to say. Like, you look beautiful. You know, I was being nice. It was her fucking husband's memorial. My brother came in and kind of skulked around. I think he put 2 chairs out. After I had set up this table, like I set up everything. And then somebody from his work came in and I was like, you're a little early, but cool. Okay. Like hanging out. And then my dad's best friend, Matt, and his family showed up. Nice to meet you. They're sitting with my mom an hour into the memorial. It was from 4 to 7, 5 o'clock, 5:15 max. Your brother's really upset. We're going to go home. I go, what? Yeah, your brother can't handle this, so we're going to go home. I was like, okay. People had brought cards. She made sure and went over to the table and got the cards. And my friend Maggie had showed up. She goes, that card's for you. Go get that back. And then Matt's like, oh. I go, oh, you guys don't have to stick around, you know. And he goes, oh, well, we're waiting for Rose to come back. She was taking Kylie, was upset. I go, Matt, you want some honesty? She was going home to take some prescription pills. She also left an hour after they cut off Carrie's legs. And Drew's like, Sarah, that's just, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of having to have this fucking narrative that mommy is great. Like, no, mommy is awful. Mommy is a piece of shit person. Who leaves their husband of 42 years to discover his legs are gone? You couldn't sit in a chair for 3 hours. You didn't have to do anything. I did everything. Oh, and that was the other thing. I was setting stuff up and I had, this is what I wore, this beautiful dress and some heels. And I'm running around and the guy from my dad's work goes, oh man, look at her. She's going everywhere. And my mom goes, yeah, that was me. Your gimpy ass can't even walk. Don't say that was you. You were never me. You were never me. You wish you were me. You were never me. So like all these things are just like accumulating in my head that she's saying. Like I was testing you and you're not going to help and feel like it was just all of it. And they're leaving and my brother barks at me because I was going to take him out for his birthday. He goes, the comic book shop opens at 9 as they're walking out the door. And instantly I was just like, okay, I understand now. Because before this, I was like, I'm going to help my brother. Like, I think he'd be great at elder care. Like, let's get him a life. Let's help him out. All that. And then I was like, he's a piece of shit just like her. They are so interconnected. That's the thing. The 3 of them functioned as one person. Like, it took all 3 of them to function. And like, I'm being nice and taking you out on your birthday. You're really going to dictate the time. Like, it was just such a Peterson move that I was just like, sure. And that was the other thing. My mom for years had been like, oh, your brother works under the table at your dad's work. He's such a good worker. He's so great. So Later, 2 guys came that showed up and we're like, all right, let's do some fact finding. Rose isn't here to shut us down. So we're like, oh yeah, like, how's Kyle doing over there? And they're like, oh, his son. Yeah. He's come in like counted inventory once or twice. They go, but it's so sweet. Carrie will need to go somewhere and he'll call Kyle and Kyle will look up like where he needs to go. It's a play-by-play. And Drew finally couldn't take it. He goes, you realize nothing's wrong with him, right? They go, what? He goes, Kyle's not slow. Like, he is totally capable. Because they were like, oh, so sweet. Like, Carrie's retarded son, like, is helping him. Like, that was the vibes we're getting. And we had to be like, no, he is fine. He just has done absolutely nothing with his life. Like, nothing's wrong with him mentally. These are all his choices. And then, like, they started to cry. And I was doing really well, but Wish You Were Here by fucking Pink Floyd came on. And I'm sorry, I cried. Because also, like, they were crying. And I was like, oh, they knew a side of my dad that they cared about. Like, it was, Then we all cleaned up and we went home. And I was talking to Taddy and Will. And she goes, wow, I saw who Rose Peterson was today. She goes, she couldn't fucking make it more than an hour and just broke it down and basically said, she goes, Sarah, exactly. Because, that was the other thing. When we were talking to those guys, we're trying to find out because we can't get the story straight. The story that my mom said is he hurt his back, then he twisted his ankle on a dog bone. Then someone said maybe staph infection. So then she's like, maybe he punctured his ankle on the dog bone. Your foot doesn't turn black like you're on Everest twisting it on a fucking dog bone. Like, none of this is making sense, Rose. Like, I'm not a doctor, but for fuck's sakes, like, no. So we're asking the guys and they're like, he was fine. Because she also was like, yeah, he's been having small strokes and I thought he was getting dementia, but like didn't do anything about it. Like, you think he's getting dementia, you're just like, oh, yeah, par for the course. Like, don't help him by any means. So like, yeah, he hurt his back and then his foot and then like all this happened. So Taddy's like, you know exactly what happened. He hurt his back and they slept in separate rooms, by the way. My parents always slept in separate rooms. I think they slept in the same room maybe 6 months of my whole life that I was there. Like, my dad slept in Kyle's room across from me. Kyle slept downstairs with Mom. That was a situation that also I had to keep a secret my whole life. Like, it was protect Mom and Kyle at all costs. Like, even though this is fucking weird, it's fucking weird, but there we are. So Taddy goes, you know what happened? He hurt his back. Mom liked having him around. This happened. Like, she goes, they knew what was happening. Like, this wasn't something that happened overnight. And that's what a doctor had said too. Because we're like, cut it to us straight after she had left one day. And he goes, there were clear signs of neglect here, if that's what you're asking. I said, yep, that's what we were asking. So he got sick, got really sick, and then they finally had to take him to the hospital. But like I said, the 3 of them functioned as one person. So not one of them made a decision the other wasn't in on, and they all let him die. Like, that is the bottom line. My father did not need to die. The 3 of them let him die by not taking him to the hospital. And she kept, also the whole time we were there, she kept being like, Sarah, piss him off, wake him up, piss him off. And finally I turned to her and I go, what is this about me pissing him off? What about me just fucking existing pisses him off? I'm like, do you not understand how weird and toxic this is? And she's like, I just can't with you right now. And that's the thing, Rose. That she kept thinking somebody was manipulating me because she always manipulated me. No, I'm fucking Walter White. I'm the one who knocks. That is not what's happening here. You fucking voodoo narcissist me, and then I see it clearly. Like, no one's manipulating me. You are awful. So that night, I just kept thinking about everything. And Kyle barking that the comic book shop opens at 9 a.m. really opened my eyes because I had always seen him as a victim. And I was like, you're not the victim. And also, I'm pissed because also them leaving me at this memorial, having to do all this, I was like, I see exactly why you contacted me. I'm the normal one. I'm the one that can deal with the hospital and the funeral home and hide how fucked up you all are because I am normal and act like a normal human being. My 15-year-old son conducted himself with such class and grace at this memorial, far beyond his years, far beyond. He handled it better than my 36-year-old brother. And I said, did your uncle ask how you were doing? Did your nana? No, they didn't. All they cared about is that they were upset. They were the most upset. They had to leave, and that was it. And that is them in a nutshell. Whatever they need, whatever they want, supersedes everybody at that moment. And that's what they're doing, and they don't give a shit. You should have stayed. It was one fucking day of your life. It was 3 hours. You couldn't make it 2 more hours because it was not about you. I was just like, I am done. I had cut them out. You know what I mean? Like, I was making bargains with myself to let them back in. I was like, I cut them out for a reason, and I need to go back to that. Walker had spent the night. It was his friend Mary's graduation party, which also, how cool are we? We let him spend the night with his girlfriend at this party, like mom of the year. But I'd already had this conversation with him, and I said, like, buddy, that's how I figured out that Nana and Papa were not good parents, is I was talking to my therapist about when my Nana died and how she was really the only person that loved me in my life, I felt like, and it was really tough. And I remember my therapist goes, that must be really tough. That was tough. Like, what'd your parents do? I go, I didn't do anything. Like, I went out with my friends that night. I said, I remember they were pissed that I wanted to go out with my friends, but I needed comfort. I needed to feel that way. And that was like the first aha moment where she was like, that wasn't right. And I self-medicated. Like, I was drinking, like I got raped because of it. Like, not good things were happening after my Nana died. So I told Walker this and was like, look, I don't want this happening to you. I am here for you. We will take you wherever you need. We will do whatever you need. But I said, please just don't cope with substances. And he said, Mom, I wouldn't. He goes, I've seen what they do. I was like, oh, fuck, that means me. He knows because of me. So it was like good that he's not going to do it, but also like a little reminder of how shitty I was. But so long story short, Mary comes and I'm like, Mary, do you want to make $20? And she's like, yeah, I do. So I loaded up Dad's ashes, those fucking 5 pictures that they had taken from the walls. I put it in there. I gave them the address. I said, here's $20. Drop it off on the porch and send me a picture. I mean, if you would callously just leave him there, clearly you don't care. Like, if you loved his ashes so much, you would have been like, I need them with me. I'm so sad. Like, no, you didn't give a shit. So, and I live in fucking Mesa. Their 2 Mormon neighbors were not stealing these ashes. I was not worried about this. So I sent her, because she's like, how did Walker like his stuff? I'm like, he loves it so much. Loves it. And then I'm like, something came up. I'm not going to be able to take Kyle out tomorrow. I go, but don't worry. I sent her the picture. I said, everything's on the front porch. Your card is in there. And then she messaged back, what's happening? And I blocked her. I blocked her. I blocked my brother. This was like a strategic attack. Like, I'm not a planner. I'm normally spur of the moment. So I was very proud of myself because then Drew blocked her. And then I messaged Walker. I'm like, okay, now block her. So like everybody's blocked. I don't plan on talking to her ever again, or him. And she kept saying, your brother's set up. Your brother's set up. Don't worry. Your brother's set up when I die. So if he's set up, he is a 37-year-old man. He knows the funeral home we went to. He can deal with this. Also, he's in contact with my Uncle Kevin, who did not come out for the funeral, his brother's funeral, his only brother's funeral. Instead, he was going to plant a tree. Kevin, you can shove that tree so far up your ass until it's coming out your nose. Because my dad would not have cared about a fucking tree being planted for him. Like, who the fuck do you think you're dealing? Like, no, you didn't want to come out and you wanted to make yourself feel better. So Kyle can go fucking live with Kevin. He can live with Courtney. He can live with the shitty Petersons because he's a shitty Peterson just like them. I am not raising her kid, because let me tell you, the kids I'm raising are doing fucking amazing. They were so good, like so good at this memorial, so grace and class and grief, and just so proud of them. And they are like that because I got them away from her. So that's my dead legless dad story. But also, okay, it's so sad. It's very sad. It was very traumatizing. It's very depressing. But he's more useful to me dead than he was alive. Like, it's more fun to say like, oh, my dead legless dad, Lieutenant Dad, than, oh, we're no contact. And the last time we talked, he called me Colleen because that was his sister that died of a drug overdose, because he was insinuating I never had a drug problem, even though I lived it for over a decade. But cool. And I've forgiven him, like, whatever. But also he showed his true colors. Like, that's, I guess, also all encompassing, if anyone's going to take anything away from this, is my family showed exactly who they were in these moments. Because here's when I started to not feel sorry for Rose, because I was feeling bad. I'm like, this isn't like who I am, and like this and that. And I was like, ooh, I have Gardettos. I was getting snacks, and I had pulled down all the pictures when I was like, no, I'm not helping anymore. I was like, you don't get to have these pictures up and look like the fucking happy family that you were not a part of. So I took them down, I put them in a bag, and yesterday I got the bag, and I noticed she had put the necklace I gave her for Mother's Day this year. I was so nice and wrote her this lovely letter before I realized exactly who she is, and said, like, I love her and this and that, and I gave her this mama necklace because she was Mama Rose, and I was like, it was in my office, and it never felt right, so I'm giving it to you. So one fight, she returns the necklace that she told me she would never take off. That's who Rose Peterson is. Someone who gets told nothing's changed, so she takes off this beautiful necklace I gave her, then left an hour after her husband's legs were cut off to go take prescription pills with my brother who's never done anything with his life. Thank God I was there to normalize them. So they showed me exactly who they are. Like, I am good with who I am. I know I have integrity. I know that I have class. I know that I did the right thing for my father. And like I was telling my therapist, so I got this necklace with some of his ashes in it. And I was telling everyone, I got the good parts of him. You know, I got the man that taught me how to read, that made me love music, that loved the Cubs, that had friends at work. Like, that's the part I got. They can have the rest. I want that good part because I am going to go to Wrigley Field and I am going to dump these ashes on that field for him. So he will be there forever because that's who I am. And that's what I was able to do without you. So it's not anything for him. This is for me. So when I get up there, I can say, I did this. I did that for you. Even though you didn't deserve it. I did it because I am a fucking human being. So that's my dead dad story. Like, I guess I should tell some fun stories. Like, one time my dad killed a mouse with a baseball bat. Like, he was very anti-gun, but he like always had the baseball bat. Like, my mom was staying with me in the hospital and he gave her the baseball bat. Like, who's fucking breaking in the hospital? But okay. And he like killed it. And he's always in his tighty whities. Always in his tighty whities. So that is like a major turn off. Like, a guy, it could be fucking anybody coming at me and like Glenn Powell and tighty whities. I'd be like, you need to take those off right now. I lost my lady boner. So I remember one time my friend Gavin was picking me up and he saw my dad because we had like windows and he's like, I just saw your dad running his tighty whities across. Like, my dad had this side of him that was just fun. And like, I know that that's part of where I get it from, and his friends talking and stuff. It just seems like a waste that this is how it ended. Then MAMM and Mourning. I worked with this woman, Brenda, at Alexander Collections. And I instantly, like, we were like kindred spirits. Like, she was an older woman in her 60s, but, you know, just had a lot in common. Even after, like, she had gotten cancer and left work, and I still kept in contact with her, brunches. Like, I love Brenda. And I saw her last time at my birthday. We all got together at the Henry restaurant in Scottsdale, and she was kind of quiet, you know, and stuff, but I was just, it was a birthday party, you know, I don't know. And then I had messaged her a few times and hadn't heard anything. And then I logged on today and I noticed her daughter posted that she had died. Well, first off, I read it as Brenda's mom died, which I had seemed to have forgotten she had died like 20 years ago. I messaged Brenda and was like, oh my God, I saw your mom died. We need to get together. And then I read through it again and I was like, Brenda died. So I messaged our mutual friend and she's like, yeah, she knew at your party. She didn't want to say anything. Like, the cancer came back. Like, she weighed like 80 pounds. She didn't want anybody to see her that way. Like, it was just sad. And she was ready to go. She was done. So I reached out to her daughter and we had worked together. So I reached out to our boss, Alex and Heather. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. We're all sorry. Like, we'll have to go have a drink. And it's weird. The last person I really, truly cared about that died was my grandpa in 2010. I also was starting my family. I had a baby. Like, I had a lot going on. So I didn't really process it. So last true grief I had, I was 18 years old. I'm 40 now. And now I've had two people close to me die in the span of like a week of each other. And it's just so weird. And like people are like, welcome to the Dead Dads Club. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, I'm in the Dead Dads Club. Not a fun club to be in, but I mean, if it helps me get some podcast interviews, like I will use my dead legless dad for whatever I can for the next year. Like I'll wear black and be in mourning, but I'm going to use it because he's more useful to me now than he was when we were no contact. Because also there's closure. You have to understand when there's no contact, there's no closure. You can be at peace with everything. You can be accepting, but there's always this part of you that's like, when are they going to pop back in? What is going to be the thing? He will never pop in again. And also, I'd like to think that he got up there, wherever, the afterlife, and was like, fuck, I never made amends. Like he has to deal with that realization that this life is done. This life is done. Everything you had undone, unfinished, all of it, you're just out. And I know I'll see him again someday. And like I said, I get to show that I have integrity and the person that I am, and have some validation. Like this all was for me. I didn't do this for any of them. I did this for me so I could live with myself and honor the parts of him that shaped me into this good person that I am, because it wasn't all shit, but a lot of it was shit. And I'm going to really miss Brenda. Like I loved Brenda. We would go have like food at Whole Foods, and we would go have brunch. And Brenda was such a light. And even after she left the store, so many customers would come in and be like, oh, where's Brenda? Like she made an impact on people and her life mattered. And that's what's tough, is because my dad's life feels like what a waste. Out at 66, like you know what I mean? Like what a waste. Your family was no contact with you. Like you were surfacey with people at work, but Brenda was truly, truly loved. And my mom can say that she loved him. You would stay the memorial. Because let me tell you, if they cut off Drew's legs, first off, that's his biggest fear. So also this triggered a ton of shit, because that is like his biggest fear is amputation. And he's like, now I have to be in on this decision. I would never leave his side. Never. I would be the last person at his memorial. I'd be the first person at his memorial. That is who I am. So she doesn't get to play the I loved him so much card, because actions speak louder than words, Rose. And your actions showed everyone there exactly who you were. And it wasn't me telling people. It wasn't this. It was they saw you for exactly who you are. And I don't know how you look at yourself in the mirror every day. I genuinely don't. Being that selfish and that nasty. You were testing me with the drugs. You were testing me. Like what I needed in that moment, because you had a prescription pill problem, is I needed a hug and you just say, Sarah, it's okay. Everything will work out. We'll figure it out. Everything's okay. This is not the end of the world. Instead, you sat there crying, saying, I wish I could help you. And then you ghosted me. So no, I had built this house with fucking leftovers and shit from them. And when I got off the pills, I leveled that house. That house was gone. And if I was building it back up, it was brick by brick and cement, and it was strong, and it was exactly my dream house. And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. And you don't get to come live in this dream house that you didn't help contribute to. You kept me from this. You were turning me into you, and you kept me from this, and you turned me into somebody that I didn't like or respect, that I've now had to forgive, because she was just lost and was doing the best that she could. But also, even me just saying this, I've done so much therapy. I've worked through it. Like I can get through the anger. It's just her and I are just so different, and always have been. And maybe that's our biggest problem. But sorry, it was such a downer episode, guys. But MAMM and Mourning. Hopefully no one else bites the big one, cakes the bucket, whatever, you want to say. If you want to show me some love, drop some leg emojis in the comments. That's our new oh, dad. But millennials, take away from this. We're losing our parents. And just because someone is dying or in the hospital doesn't mean that you need to compromise who you are or your boundaries. I don't regret any of this, but I genuinely 100% am at peace with cutting them out for good now. So I feel like all of us maybe need to be a little selfish and quit worrying about everyone else's feelings and actually worry about yours and protecting yourself, because this is hard and this is tough. And I feel bad when people are like, oh, I'm so sorry about your dad. And I'm like, I'm really okay. I'm at peace with it. You know, like I had nothing to do with it. It's not like I saw the legs going black and didn't say anything. I was no contact. The minute they called me, I went to the hospital. I advocated for him. I did everything I could. I did the memorial. I took care of my son. My friends came out. My hands are clean. So everyone this week, please be kind to yourself and take care of yourself, and maybe say a prayer for my Lieutenant Dad, Lugless Dad. And remember, people, make today your bitch.